presented by Champion Barbecue Supply, starts now.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Blitz, brought to you by Champion Barbecue Supply. We reached week 4 of the high school football season, and teams are starting to find their identities. A lot of big games on tap this week, but we're going to start out at Dick Bivens, where Amarillo High hosted Paladero. Both teams coming off of impressive wins from a week ago. And here come the Sandies and the Dons. This one was a good one. We're going to pick it up on the opening drive for the Dons. Deuce Reese finds Darian Lewis underneath. Nice little move there. Picks up a nice gain to move the chains. A few plays later now, Reese is going to get flushed out of the pocket and then decides to pull this one down. Referee ran in front of me there, but then he scampers up the sidelines for another first down. Dons knocking on the door later in the drive, and Amarillo James punches his way in across the goal line, and the Dons take the lead. At Amarillo High, they would respond. Jet Lopez finds Jude Donovan out in the flat. He slices his way forward for the first down. Now a few plays later, Lopez under pressure, and he's going to scramble out and show he has some wheels too, and he's going to fly up the sideline here for a big first down. Now Sandy's knocking on the door here on the goal line. Lopez rolls out, gets it to Oliver Parsons, and that will tie the game. But back would come the Dons. Lewis going to take the pitch, and he's going to rumble ahead on this one for another first down. Next play now, Reese going to survey the field, and some pressure going to come in late, so he's going to take off, and he's going to pick himself up another first down. Later in the drive, Raymond Johnson comes rumbling ahead. He'll plow across the goal line as the Dons regain the lead. Let's check out the scoreboard here. You can see Paladero gets the win in that one. So let's head back to last night where Tascosa hosted Permian. There's a long weather delay before this one will begin. We're on the opening drive for Permian. Jacob Garcia goes to Gavin Black on the swing pass. He knifes his way forward for a nice first down. A little later now in the drive, that's another third down here, and Garcia finds Aaron Navarrete. He's going to work his way ahead, and he gets another first. Then a few plays later, Garcia going to float it up to the corner of the end zone. Cameron Mattingly goes up and makes a great catch. Permian takes the lead, but back would come the Rebels. Colton Fulton, he's back to pass, fires it over to David Gordon, and he'll pick up the first. Then a few plays later, it's third down. Campbell King going to take the pitch, and he's going to rumble ahead for a big first. Same drive now in the second quarter, and Israel Hernandez, he's going to plow away across the goal line. That would tie the game, and let's check out the score on that one. Permian would hang on to win a thriller. Now we're going to head to Canyon where the Eagles hosted Caprock. This was also last night. So here come the Eagles, ready to bounce back from a tough loss last week. Opening drive, though, for Caprock. Juan De La Cruz back to pass. Takes a shot deep for a wide open cannon, Paul Voda, and he is gone. Longhorns would take the early lead on the big play, but Canyon would respond on the ensuing drive. Rudy Flores takes the direct snap, and he's going to fight his way in for the touchdown. That would tie the game. Back would come Caprock. Once we're done with the celebration here, De La Cruz, he's going to keep this one. Nearly gets pulled down, but he works his way out of it, and he's in to regain the lead for Caprock. But Canyon would march right back down the field, and Flores gets the call again. He'll punch it into the end zone. That would tie it up again. Let's head to the scoreboard. This one was a great one. They had a long weather today. Canyon hangs on to win it, and Randall shuts out Legacy. All right, now up to Borger, who are hosting the Pampa Harvesters. We're going to pick it up on the opening kickoff. You usually know what that means when we're showing you a kickoff. Jose Alonso going to field it, then hands it off to Max Neff. Neff's got some jets on him. Look at the big man roll up on fire. He's going to cut it back to the inside. He's wanting to take this one the distance, but he's starting to slow up here. Ulysses Castaneda is going to pull him down on the one, but a great start for Pampa. On the next play, Jaron Hill going to power behind his line on the sneak, and Pampa would take the lead. Now over to the next Pampa possession after a Borger 3-and-out. Hill, he's going to roll out, and then pitches it back to Neff. And look at this, fighting his way through multiple tackles. And that would make it 14-0 Pampa. But back would come Borger. Hunter Randall with all kinds of time He's going to roll out and floats it to Castaneda. He's going to make some nice moves here and gets into the end zone. We'll go to the scoreboard here. As you can see, it was Pampa getting the win there, and then Dumas with a good win over Plainview. I think we have one more score here. Yes, as Perryton takes down Hereford. Well, that wraps up the first quarter of the Blitz, but we still have a lot of action still to come, including our game of the week, which has the West Plains Wolves hosting the Bushland Falcons. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Blitz. Welcome back, everyone, to the second quarter of the Blitz. The West Plains Wolves have been rolling early into the season, sitting at 3-0 and scoring over 50 points in their two previous games. They'll face a Bushland Falcon team that's coming off of 2 straight losses, but West Plains and Bushland has proven to be one of the best new rivalries in high school football. Bushland has won the last 3 seasons. We'll head out to Happy State Bank Stadium for our Game of the Week, brought to you by Aqua One.
Game of the Week, presented by Aqua One.
All right, and here come the Falcons, hoping to end that 2-game skid. We're going to pick it up here in the first quarter. West Plains with the ball. Reed Macon drops back with air this one out to Lawson Betancourt, who makes the great catch, and he'll sprint into the end zone. West Plains up 7-0. Cheerleaders pumped up with that one. We're going to pick it up now. West Plains on 4th down. They're cooking for a field goal, but that one's going to be blocked. West Plains would recover it, but Bushland would take over. But it would go nowhere, so we'll move to the second quarter now. Still 7-0. Macon finds Kane White Tinsley in the corner. He'll make the great catch. It's 14-0 West Plains. Here now, Bushland with the ball. They're looking to move the chains. Cannon Avon, he's going to roll out and throws it up. But that's a misfire because it's picked off by Boston Ladd. And the senior, he's going to make the house call all the way to the end zone. It's 21-0 West Plains. Now a different quarterback for Bushland, Colton Strickland. He's under pressure, gets that one off, but once again, it's Avon with another interception. West Plains is up 31-0 at the half. Let's check the scoreboard. And this one was all West Plains as they finally get that first win over Bushland. We'll now head back to Happy State Bank Stadium where Drew Powell standing by with head coach Adam Cummings.
Yeah, thanks very much. This was a one-sided game from the beginning. The final score 45-0 in favor of West Plains over Bushland. We're now joined by the winning coach, Adam Cummings. Go ahead and talk about that first touchdown, and then from there, your team was able to do what they had to do to take care of business.
You know, we talked about it all week. We needed to start fast. Well, that was something we really didn't feel like we did last week against Estacada. And from a defensive standpoint, I felt like our kids executed well, and then, you know, got the ball in our offense's hands and again executed well and put the ball in the end zone quick. And so started the game the way we wanted to.
Talk about your defense. I mean, you're able to hold Bushland out of the end zone, and this is a team that has beaten you guys last 3 years in a row.
Yeah, that was definitely the monkey on our back, elephant in the room, whatever kind of cliche you want to use. They've been our nemesis, and we just hadn't found a way to do it. And just proud of our kids for finally finding a way to make it happen. And just can't say enough about the effort. Coaches, kids, the community, just believing in us and just giving us a chance to come out and prove them right.
Okay, once again, West Plains is victorious by a final of 45-0 in our game of the week. They have a bye next week, and then the week after that, they go on the road for a big game. That's the latest here from Happy State Bank Stadium in Canyon. I'm Drew Powell. Now let's send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Drew. We'll go back to Tulia last night when they were hosting WT High. West Texas High with the ball here after forcing a 4-and-out. Cade Winters goes to Zach Bryant. That looks like a touchdown, but the rest would actually call him out on the 5. So on the ensuing play, Winters will keep it, and he's in for the score. So they missed the 2-point try, 6-0 WT High. On the Hornets' next drive, Jasper Ripto, he's going to pick off Jacob Trevino here, and they'll take the ball back here to WT. 3 plays later, in Winters, he's in again for another score. That'd be 14-0 Comanches. Let's check the scoreboard on this one. And you can see it was all West Texas High on that one. Got a few more scores for you now as Canadian takes down Muleshoe. Dalhart with a big win over Friona. A couple more here as Dimmitt with a huge win over Morton. And Childress takes down Sunray. All right, now let's head to Panhandle, who hosted River Road. And the crowd, they're fired up for this one. We're going to pick it up on the opening drive. Layden Craw, he's going to get the handoff. Looks to be stopped, but then keeps chugging those legs, moving forward for a first down. Then they're knocking on the door now a few plays later. Broxton Robinson, he's going to keep it himself, coming right at our camera and in for the touchdown. Then on the next Panhandle possession, Robinson going to keep this one on the RPO, and he's going to work his way forward for another first. Then on the next play, Robinson, he's looking to pass here, airs it out for Caden Arms, and then check out this catch. Goes up, grabs it, falls right in, right by the pylon for the touchdown. Let's go ahead and check out the scoreboard on this one. And it was all Panhandle in that one, while Highland Park gets the win over Memphis. Fritch, gets the win over Shamrock, while Spearman, this one was last night, takes down Texoma. We have Farwell falling to Abernathy. Stratford shuts out Texaco. And then we've got a couple more as Groover takes out Clarendon and Seagraves over Bovina. All right, now we're going to head to Vega, who hosted Sudan. All right, coin toss here as we're getting ready. They're down 14 in the first quarter. Case Volger going to find Cruz Cook on the screen, and he's going to run through everyone on the way, picking up a first down. A few plays later now, Volger swings it out to Cage Van Dyke, and he's got a nice moves there as he's going to pick up another first down. We're in the same drive now, though. It's in the second quarter. Low snap on that one, but Volger gets it up, then floats it up to Van Dyke. That's the easiest one you'll get. That gets the Longhorns on the scoreboard. Let's check out the score. As you can see, it was Sudan getting the win there, and then Wellington with the big win over Lubbock Christian. Well, that concludes the second quarter of the Blitz, but we still have action in the ranks of 6-man, and we'll head out of state as well. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Blitz. Welcome back to the third quarter of the Blitz, and we still have a lot to get to, but we're going to start with some six-man action, as it was homecoming for the San Jacinto Christian Patriots. They hosted Boys Ranch, who were coming off of a win over Headley. And here come the Patriots onto the field. We're going to pick this one up on the opening kickoff. Zeke Holman, he's going to field this one on the run. He's going to make a cut, hit the sidelines, and that would spring him. He is gone. Boys Ranch takes the lead off the opening kickoff, and they weren't finished. We're going to pick it up on the next Boys Ranch possession. Isaac Acosta, he's going to air this one deep to Corday Jackson, hits him in stride, and he'll fly ahead for the score. Let's go ahead and check out the scoreboard on this one. And it was all Boys Ranch in that one, while Claude shuts out Groom. We have Follette with the big shutout victory, Happy falling to Whitharrell. And then finally, LaForge over Headley, and Miami takes down White Deer. Now for the out-of-state scores, we'll start in Oklahoma. Guyman trails Liberal, and Boise State takes down Balco Forgan. Then we have Turpin taking down Buffalo. Let's go ahead and check on some New Mexico scores. As you can see here, Clovis with a slim lead there, and then Portales trails in the second. Then one more score here to get to as Dora falls to Anemus. Now it's time for our Play of the Week, brought to you by Glass Doctor.
Play of the Week, presented by Glass Doctor.
And for our Play of the Week, we go back to last night, Happy State Bank Stadium. This was the play right before the weather delay. There you saw Brax Hacker find Baylor Schilling on the slant. He would outrun everyone. That would help lead the Eagles to the win. Congrats to Brax Hacker and Baylor Schilling for a great play. We'll wrap up the show after this timeout.
Promotional consideration provided by the following. Band of the Week, presented by ACFCU.
Well, welcome back to the final quarter of the Blitz. You've just heard from the mighty Maroon Hereford Marching Band under the direction of Christy Henson, Aaron Rines, and Sean Roll. We want to thank ACFCU, who brings us Band of the Week each and every week. And Hereford, great job there. It was a busy day of college football tomorrow. We have our usual triple header right here on ABC. Arkansas is taking on Memphis in the early game, while Oklahoma hosts Auburn in the afternoon. And then the late night finale will see Florida visit Miami. The Texas Longhorns are at home against Sam Houston State. Texas Tech opens up Big 12 play on the road against Utah. That's a big matchup. WT Buffs go for their second straight conference win. They're on the road against Central Washington. That's a ranked opponent. And Eastern New Mexico, they're on the road against Midwestern State. And then we have a lot of area volleyball tomorrow as well. The Lady Eagles host Randall. That one's down in Canyon. And the Lady Buffs with a huge game against Angelo State. That one's in the box. And then a couple soccer games as well out at the pitch for WT. That's going to wrap up week 4 of the Blitz. Have a great week, everyone. See you tomorrow.